Just what is going on here? Professor Callahan has gone missing, and you're here with some evidence that he's been abusing his power? Even the police and guild have barged into the institute wanting to question me. You people have been here for a day. A day! Are you some sort of plague being brought down upon us? That's actually one of the most common ways I'm described, believe it or not. It's not their fault. This is Professor Callahan's problem. No, it's all of our problem. Katja, don't act like you didn't know about assistants being harassed left and right. Just what did you want me to do about it in my position? It's not my place to say anything about his research. I'm sure that is one of the difficult things about being a joint venture group funded by multiple investors, but I also imagine the benefits outweigh the difficulties. Anyone could see the professor was on a rampage, and the problems of the orbital network and its distribution are just as clear. Let me just shoot straight with you. Was that professor linked to any strange groups? You know, like the Mafia or anything. I'd like to believe that he wasn't, but I can't say for sure. It's pretty normal for the Institute of Science and Verne Company to accept outside funding. In other words, the ground is fertile for corruption, and I can't write off the possibility with all those new terminals he suddenly had on him. Stop this pointless conjecture. You have no evidence. If rumors like this were to leak to the public during such a crucial time, how about acting like a leader for once in your damn life? These youngsters were hired so the police and the guild wouldn't have to get involved. And while we sit here scrambling for answers, who knows what Professor Callahan is up to? Tell me, is there ever going to be a better time than now to step up as CEO, Bill? Supervisor. Fine, I'll tell you everything I know. But please keep this just between us. Of course, our team always keeps matters like this confidential. We're contracted with one of your biggest shareholders, the Principality of Elsheim. We have nothing to gain from hurting your image, and everything to gain from earning some brownie points with Verne. Professor Callahan first began to change around a year or two ago. We'd received a request from the Republican Army to develop the next generation of weapons, something he excelled in. But when the time came to propose ideas, he lost in his own field. Professor Cronkite's was accepted. I knew that was it. Ever since, he's been doing research on his own like a man possessed. I don't know what it is he started researching, but whatever it was, it required an immense amount of capital and manpower. There came a point where he started seeking every sponsor he could. Then half a year ago, I heard a place called the Anchorville Company offered an unprecedented amount of money. That name. So it got caught in your information network too, eh? Don't tell me this is the same thing as in Longport. Indeed, Anchorville Company, much like the Messeldom Trading Company, is also one of their shell corporations. Who are we talking about? A certain mafia. They're called Almada, and they're on both the guild and the police's radars. What? Professor Callahan was involved with people like that? I've heard the rumors, been expanding their territory an awful lot of late. Just how the hell could you have overlooked something like this? It's not my fault, I only got the info the other day. And what else could I do? Do you know what would happen to me if I put a pause on research for the Mafia? Think about the poor assistants who ended up helping them without even realizing it. So after losing against the genius professor, he started focusing entirely on his own research. My bet's that he's sticking to his same field of expertise. And if the Mafia has invested massive funds into his work, I have a bad feeling about this, a really bad feeling. The network delay that dropped down to 0.35% has gotten worse again as of this morning too. That makes it highly possible that he's continuing his research in another location. But just where on earth could that be? Sounds like we got a good old-fashioned manhunt on our hands. We're gonna be combing through this place way more than we did yesterday. I take it there are no objections? I don't like it, but I know it must be done. Better give our cards the proper ranks then. Fine, give me your cards. So before it's all said and done, we're gonna have double S cards, not triple because that's reserved for Lloyd and crew. Rank B, the certification level you mentioned. That one almost never gets issued. I'm not trying to bitch, but may as well just give us rank A at this point. Don't ask for the impossible. Besides, we'll be able to get around much better than we could yesterday with these. Let's get to work. Time to get one over that Mafia.
I have a favor to ask. If at all possible, do you think I could accompany you?
Oh?
As Professor Hamilton's student, this situation with Professor Callahan isn't entirely unrelated to me, and I very much consider it my job to do something about it in her stead. Please, let me come with you.
Catra. That's fine with me. But just to give you a heads up, our work takes priority. That means you're going to be tagging along while we take care of business. That going to be a problem? You mean like yesterday? That's fine. I wouldn't even mind helping out if there's anything I can do. Well, we're kind on you guys. I'll reach out to my contacts and see what I can dig up while you're at it. And just don't do anything too crazy, okay, Catra? Don't worry so much, Essie. I'm in good company. But whatever it takes, I'm determined to set things right while she's not here to do it herself. I know. I'll start talking to any dealers who supplied Professor Callahan with parts. If I hear anything back, I'll let you know. Take good care of the boy. Yeah, you got it. By the way, Anya, it glowed last night, didn't it? It did, yes. Most likely at the same time as when Professor Callahan's final transmission went out. We're getting close, then. Yes, last time the Genesis glowed like that was... What are you talking about? What's a Genesis? Don't worry about it. Work stuff. I'm sure we'll fill you in eventually. I hope you don't mind, Catra. If you say so, it must be something that could take a while to explain. So where should we start? If possible, I'd like to first speak to Yang. You know him better as Professor Cronkite. The guy our missing professor had beef with, right? Yeah, I bet he knew a thing or two about his research. Sounds good to me, plus I think it's about time we had a little talk with yesterday's client. The anonymous one? Not so anonymous to us at this point. Come on, let's settle the score. So we'll be making the rounds through Newtown and the Arsenal District before heading to the Institute of Science. Sounds perfect. Then may day 2 of our work begin. Catra joined the party.
I see.
So yeah, I gotta make the most of the time here, because Blue's gonna want to probably play his wrestling game when he gets back. Especially after that update went through. Indeed, this is likely the best compromise available. This should at least get the project off the ground. Well, frankly, I don't see what's in it for us. This is a big responsibility for little benefit down the river. That said, I've heard grumblings of a different project. I can try and pull some strings for you there. I appreciate it, but we should be fine. That project is a bit unique. Honestly, I don't know much about it myself. We don't know who's working on it, whatever it is, it's highly confidential. So it would seem I'm not privy to any of that info myself either. Every company has its secrets, but it's rare to run into a project even more confidential than our own. What are they up to there? I'm sorry I can't go into more detail. This is a very strange project. Heard they've expunged all their international engineers from the project, too. Now that piques my interest. I don't have any inroads there, though. I can't brute force my way into that war room. And that's a repeat. About Professor Callahan, if you learn of his whereabouts, please let us know. We haven't been able to reach him. He's been our company advisor for years and years, and now he's just gone. I can only hope that he's safe wherever he is. So real quick, I was curious if there was like a upper floor we could go to. Like there's nothing on the map, so I was wondering like if it was fast travel or something. Well, looks like you hit the nail on the head. This whole thing is linked to the Mafia. How do you know? Freaking guild, y'all stick your noses in every damn corner, I swear. Don't be salty about it, bud. That's just what their comms network gets them. Yeah, I think it could be really useful for us, too, if we just work together. You good there, guys? I don't remember them dogpiling on him like that. Are they picking up on his sarcasm? Anyway, we know what we gotta do now. We're gonna get our equipment sorted out, and then we move. You guys stay sharp out there. Beneath that prickly exterior, he really does care for us. Indeed, perhaps a certain Spriggan is rubbing off on him. Yeah, Mankind needs to stop doing that. How did it come to this? No, maybe there's still time. We just need a hero. If memory serves, they work for a Vern Weapons R&D contractor. What happened here exactly? They look out of sorts. Well, I'm their hero, but I'll be back later. Today we finally meet with the Vern Company to hammer out a big partnership. Cooperation with the academic community is one of Vern's founding principles, so they're pretty receptive to the idea. It's just after the foundation got cut out, things have been a bit dicey. But I can't let that get to me. I'm gonna ace this. Just rehearse and execute. It was bad enough trying to work through the network issues. It was driving our online reservation system haywire. We had double bookings, outages, random cancellations. It was a nightmare. We've never had to deal with anything like that before, and I hope we don't have to again. It's horrifically bad for ratings. 10 out of 10. There you go. Surely it'll offset all those zeros and ones. We're actively searching for Callahan, but it looks like the CID is already on the move themselves. The fact that they're showing up means this ain't your everyday incident. There's gotta be more to this. I hate entrusting things to them, but we're in no position to turn them down.
Aerotram's just awesome.
Sublime. Luce is really cool. She's so calm and collected, and she's really good at what she does. She's like the opposite of me. I just go hopping from one odd job to another, but she's landed her dream job already. Maybe I should take notes and figure out what I want to do. You know, maybe I can just start working at the pharmacy. I think I'm on good terms with Luce now. Maybe she can teach me. I got in touch with Cindy for the first time in a while. Goddess almighty, it makes me sick to hear what that professor put her through. They said it was because she was the only woman in the lab, but that's no excuse at all. Her health really suffered because of it. Anyway, maybe I'll buy something from the drugstore as a little pick-me-up. My mentor, Professor Orley, told me about what happened at the Institute. I didn't want to believe the rumors, but you could see it written all over those poor victims' faces. They look terrible. As a pharmacist, I want to do whatever I can to help them recover. Those women especially.
Hello. Thanks for shopping.
Not a single eyewitness report either. Nobody in town saw a thing. Are we just grasping at straws here? Guess we can try the workshop area in the airport? I don't know. Guess Blanca's right. There's always a stone unturned. Let's split up and do another comb through. Wonder if Elvis has gotten any leads yet. We should meet back up soon.
It's so convenient nowadays.
I heard news of an incident at the Institute. The police were asking around for information and eyewitness reports. We have logs of everybody's Aerotram trips from their certification cards. We scanned it to get on and off. If we couldn't find anything that might relate to the incident, I'm sorry we couldn't be any help.
Have your authentication card ready and follow the instructions.
I'm from Le Mans, you see. It's a nation rich with lakes and gorges. Thus, fishing is a popular hobby there. I started earlier myself. I know I'm in denial. I know it's not healthy for me. But the truth hurts more. I was curious if his line was actually, you know, out in the water and stuff, stuck on a rock or something. Wouldn't put it past him. The store's been hit by this orbital instability business too, so I went ahead and double-checked our wiring. And as expected, our setup is perfectly fine. There's something bigger going on in the city. Our manager's talking with HQ to try and get it fixed, but outside of that, there's nothing we can do. So the thing is, I was about to say there should be a better gun. So it's not too big of a jump. We have the U materials to burn.
I hope to
And
see
I do
you again.
plan on using them, I should mention. I'm not too familiar with Vern weapons myself. Interesting, I've swung some Erebonian makes, and compared to those, these are much lighter and easier to carry. They just take out some of the bulk in exchange. I don't imagine they have stuff like two-handers, like the two-handers my grandfather used. A bit of a shame. Kid knows his stuff. Not every day you meet a two-hander specialist. From what I heard, Julian hails from a line of renowned Erebonian swordsmen. Certainly looks the part. There's something strange about him, though. Can't put my finger on it. So it's possible he could be one of the Vanders. He could be related to the Arsaeids. There's quite a few Erebonian families that use double-handed weapons. What you doing there? What's with all the nuts and bolts there? Are you modding your car? Modding sounds so illegal. I'm just tuning it. Can't beat you just by being a better driver. I need a better car, too. Well, you're not very good at tuning either, though. Remember when you tried to fix the radio that one time? Shut up, you said you wouldn't talk about that again. And besides, your dad's workshop has been helping you with your car, too, haven't they? It's only fair I get to work on mine. No, I don't mod my cars one bit. I thought I told you that. Wait, you don't? Then how do they just... You really just drive them that good? Yep, what's the point in buying a win when you can earn it instead? You're telling me I never stood a chance? All things equal, she still beats me? And he believed the lie. The guys at Dad's workshop have been teaching me about what parts do and how to mod stuff. It's really cool. But modding an RC car to be faster is kinda lame, so I keep it stock. I want to win fair and square. Dang it. I thought everybody else was modding their cars, but nope, it was just me all along. I mean, just how the heck does Amelia drive a car like that with no mods at all? It doesn't make sense. The distribution network seems really unstable right now. I'm worried it might affect our tuning service. I did some digging. I can confirm it's not just us. The whole city's running into issues. I contacted HQ about it, but they said they don't have a timetable. Might have to put them in the hot seat if this keeps up.
Hello there.
Okay, we did get the fern cap. I need to look up to see if I can still get the rose earring. I think I might have missed it permanently. So I was talking to the store manager a second ago, right? He said the latest consumer model orbital cameras can take video too, like movie cameras do. I'm sure the quality's not as nice, gotta make concessions for consumer grade stuff, but man, what if I can make my own homemade movies? Can't believe you can just do that now. I'm hyped out of my mind. It's like Shinyon won't move or reach. Julian went to check out the weapon shop and he hasn't come back. It's just me, or am I the only one actually trying to study stuff here? Yes, what's your take? Well, who's to say? It is possible there could be something that just unlocks in the final chapter or something, so we'll play it by ear.
I guess we're off.
This is the Aerotram.
I just got back from a delivery to the Institute, but it sounds like something big went down there now. Heck did I miss? It was in the special research building, I heard. Average Joes aren't even allowed in there. I don't want to be a thorn in their side while they're dealing with all that. What's a delivery boy to do? Guess I'll just have to sit tight for now. Maybe get the supplies to someone in charge. Okay, there's one over here. I think this is the church, or is it the guild?
What to do?
I've reported all this to the Edith branch and brought Jin up to speed. They said they're going to try looking into the Anchorville company for us too. I investigated myself and I learned that they've been bringing the suspicious freight truck into the city lately. I'll have to look into that more. Could it be related to Almana's dealings with Professor Callahan? Professor Callahan's undeniably smart, but all the same he has a bad habit of panicking and rushing into bad decisions. It's always been his weak point, really. He has trouble stepping back and clearing his head. One of our guests was saying that our network issues have gotten even worse over the last day or so. Some people are just going off the grid altogether and staying offline until it all blows over. Ironically, our online ordering system is a bit more stable now. Guess there's less demand on the grid or something. Those two siblings are like a whole routine in and of themselves. Never gets old watching them work the floor. The network issues here have messed up my itinerary today, so I'm just standing by here. But I'm not complaining. There's hardly a boring moment here with those two around. Some of our guests have been talking about Giscard laying some big new project. It's a common story nowadays. There's lots of demand for research now, and that's good for spirits and business both. I like to think we've been helping them along in our own way. Now we gotta step up our game with their projects ramping up. They gotta eat. Makes me all the more glad I got my brother to develop that online ordering system. It's a real lifesaver.
Don't take too long to decide now.
Okay, got
Come back
those.
soon.
I had way too much to drink last night, but it was a decent chance to shoot the shit with the artisans at least. They're a lot more relatable than I first thought. They take a lot of pride in doing their job right, just like I do. I'm supposed to be the middleman between them and the higher-ups, but looking back, I've just been pushing the higher-ups' agenda onto them. Gotta start listening to their side of the story, you know? Maybe they can do their job better that way. And that's the hard part. Man, I sat down with my son last night, but we still couldn't really see eye to eye on things. Can't figure out kids worth a damn. Just want to help him figure out what path he wants to take in life. The workshop will let him find what works for him. But I can never get that through to him. Maybe I'm just not good at explaining it. Hold on. Okay, for a second there I thought there was someone upstairs in the hotel, but there's not. Yeah, I can see how this workshop ended up the flag bearer for the whole Artisans Guild. Each of the workshops we visited specialized in their own little niche instead of covering all the bases. It's all of them working together that makes Vern the powerhouse that it is, and the city along with it. Real big on tech, isn't he? Nerd. Yeah, he's always had an eye for these things. As a native of Basel, I'm happy to see people learn about what makes this place so nice. And he just repeats that. The Arsenal District has this unique vibe to it. It's so unlike the rest of the city. It's really charming. Just wish there weren't so many stairs here. It's fine when you can use the Aerotram to get around, but when you can't, it's a nightmare. I get why, but still, could they not have built the city in the middle of a ravine? I imagine getting around town was even more difficult before cars and trams. We're browsing the Arsenal District at the moment. These workshops are quite impressive. Basel reminds me a lot of Zeiss. It's this factory city over in Liberl. And all these engineering types remind me of a certain old fellow, too. Who would that be? Nobody. You've gotten yourselves wrapped up in yet more trouble, haven't you? Do be careful, that goes for all of you. We will, don't worry. If we need your help, we'll let you know. Okay, who is this chick anyway? Suspicious with a capital S.
Indeed.
See, even Catra's picking up on it. I'm not gonna lie, we are making really good time. Thanks so much for letting me come along on this delivery. Whoa, is that the top secret project over there? That's so cool. Easy, boy, you're like a big old puppy. Even the small stuff on this job is serious business, you know? We gotta make sure we do every step right. I just feel nervous slotting you in on a big project like that already. So if it can stop making you nervous, you'll let me on? I just gotta get better, right? I guess that's not the wrong way to take what I said. Just start looking before you leap. You gotta stop charging blindly into things, bud. I'm really dying to take part in that project. I gotta hurry up and get smithin'. The boss really doesn't like my work, though. I do kind of feel like I'm rushing things, but how can't I? He's always yelling in the background. Puts me on edge. Maybe there's a time or place where it's nice and quiet. I'll try and make some stuff then. Voyager's optimism is probably his biggest strength. He always looks on the bright side of things. He just has a habit of rushing head first into everything. Makes for sloppy work sometimes. I wouldn't be opposed to letting him work on his own if he could show me that he actually knows what he's doing. Towsend, if he wanted to do what's best for Vern, he'd grow a damn spine. No, he can't know about every little under-the-table deal those billion subsidiaries are doing. But it's still his job to keep everything above board. He's got to stamp that crap out when he sees it. I heard about what happened over at the Institute. Sounds like the Artisans Guild is helping out however they can. I'm really worried for Katja, though. And the Institute, we can't just let those goons take it over or all of Professor Hamilton's work will go to waste. Some students from Aramis came by to visit earlier. I wasn't able to tell them much, but I did give them a general overview of what we do here. They were smart cookies, but one of them was leaps and bounds above the others. Hard to believe she was just a student. Even the supervisor was impressed. So real quick, do I have any... Okay, I'm out of fire, pretty much. Real let me come along like usual, but she said today she was scared to leave me at home. And everybody's kind of sad today for some reason. Wonder what happened. Okay, we don't need to go into the mine or anything, unless the quest requires it.
Now then.
This is the church, right? Yeah. I heard that a professor from the Institute went missing. I can only pray that Adios extends her guiding hand to them. I'm far from an expert on the city and its customs, but I believe the goddess's light shines brightly here all the same. I will pray for the professor's safety today.
Alrighty.
I heard about Professor Callahan's disappearance as well. We have asked the congregation to share any hints toward his whereabouts, but we haven't learned anything so far. I did also hear that he had been mistreating his assistants. I hoped it was only coincidence that his assistants looked exhausted whenever I would see them, but I was wrong, I see. See something, say something. Damn it. Even on a slow day, I'm running all across town. Crazy to think this is even close to peak. Gilly says the online service is glitching out for some reason, so we're not getting as many delivery orders today. Just goes to show how many people are using it. Now that it's bugging out, the whole system's backed up. Technology's really taken off, and it's always because of violence that it leaps like that. The road to progress is paved in blood. Crossbow last year is proof of that. Never seen anything like it in all my years. I heard Callahan was working like a man possessed in the days before he went missing. I can only wonder what he was working on. It's just something about his disappearance that gives me deja vu. Got a real bad feeling. So, I think that was our last one here. Off to the Institute.
Heading to the objective.
See, she gets it. So I didn't get to read that Fatal Lands thing because it went by a little too fast. I know my reading speed is good, but it's not that good. Just doesn't feel real. The Special Research Building was attacked and Professor Callahan's been kidnapped. I don't think this affects our work with the Institute, but I'm still worried about him. If those criminals have their eyes on the Institute, then the rank-and-file researchers might get caught in the crossfire. I'm really gonna have to help Athena weather all this. can't believe they attacked the Institute. I hope it doesn't throw a wrench into my studies, but being realistic, it probably will. I want to. No, I have to prove myself to my dad. I want to hurry up and land some big project I can be proud of. Well, let's go in. There. This theory could greatly simplify the equations we're using. I'll have to test that out at the lab. Or wait, no, I forgot it's a total mess right now. I'll have to wait until it's cleared up. I need to do the professor proud. I can't screw this up. I didn't want to believe it when the chief engineer and the other professors told me about it. It just didn't make sense to me. Can't help but wonder if we could have stopped this had someone noticed his behavior sooner. But well, hindsight is 20/20. At any rate, I need to compile our documents on the incident to send to the police and the guild. I was freaking out when I saw that explosion last night. I thought my samples might have gotten damaged in there. They were fine, but then Professor Callahan went missing after they hit the Special Research Building. That's even worse. He was the only one who really understood me. As a weapons designer, he appreciated the beauty of blowing things up. He was actually pretty excited about my proposal for a flamethrower weapon. Great minds think alike. I'm totally jealous, man. It doesn't quite look like our bracer buddy.
Tasty.
Everybody's gotta eat, right?
I can't believe what happened to Professor Callahan. First I hear those abuse allegations getting thrown around, which explain why all his students are so tired all the time. And now he's just gone. I can't imagine what it's like being one of his students right now. Wish I could do something about it, but I'll just have to keep putting hot meals on their plates and getting their spirits up.
What'll it be for today? Thanks a bunch.
Man, I really screwed the pooch, letting an intruder blow right by me into the Special Research Building. The investigation's still ongoing here, but I'll report whatever I find out there. Anything helps. I hear you're investigating this yourselves, and I see Mr. Silician is with you too. I don't see any harm in letting you guys in. Go on through. Yeah, I need to make up my mind if I want to keep calling him Silician or Silicion. People said they heard all kinds of weird sounds at the Institute last night. Are you thinking what I'm thinking? This place has been around since the Middle Ages. Those weird sounds can only mean one thing. Ghosts. It's haunted, isn't it? No, not that I've heard. There was an attack over the Special Research Building last night. That's what that was. Did you seriously not hear about it? I swear you have the keenest ear for gossip, but the actual stories fly right over your head. Wait, really? The building got attacked? It's the first I've heard of it. Actually, now that you mention it, yeah, I think some of the professors might have talked about it. It's just in one ear and out the other with you, isn't it? Thought it was weird how everybody was whispering today. Now it makes sense. I had no idea about it. I overslept this morning. Last I heard was the gossip from last night. Liz really needs to start acting like an adult. She goes to the Institute of Science for crying out loud. I'm glad Professor Cronkite and Professor Esmeray are okay at least. But Professor Callahan disappearing is just... can't even wrap my head around it. Professor Tane's been really worried about him even before all this went down. My heart sank when I heard Professor Callahan went missing. I hope he's alright wherever he is. Word is he had a ton of computers in his lab running parallel processing. On what? I don't know. But it all got stolen, which means whatever research he was doing caught the criminal's attention. That does shed some light on what he'd been doing this whole time, for better and for worse. Yesterday's meeting was a wash, but my hollow research is still moving along at least. Maybe Coolidge is right. Should I try having more faith in myself? I don't know.
Well,
I felt sick to my stomach when I heard the news. I can only hope they find him safe. He used to be such a kind and compassionate man. What happened to him? What drove him to abuse his students like that? I hope he comes back safe, and I hope I get to sit down with him and find out why he's done all this. So I am pretty much out of time here, so I'm looking for another NPC. I want to do those yet. Can't believe they attacked the Special Research Building. Sounds like it wasn't the work of that first intruder last night either. Thankfully our archives were left intact, but that's about all the good news. The professor disappearing is awful indeed. Here was Professor Callahan too. He used to have a real appetite for the books here. I would see him every day in the library. But he started spending less and less time here and more holed up in his lab poring over his computers.
Alrighty.
So I want to see if I can get this one. Yeah, there was a bit of trouble over at the Institute. Looks like the CID is on the ground too, so I was wondering if you'd heard anything. Come on, you can't do one little favor to help out some frightened school children? Who's she talking to? Hard to say, can't deny I'm curious, but we got bigger fish to fry right now. And when I get back, we will talk to these guys. The hell's Sasha run off to? She's always telling me not to go off on my own, but I guess she doesn't have to follow her own rules. I ain't cut out for this tour guide crap. Why'd she dump it all on me? So I believe that's actually the last one. But yeah, it's been about a week since I recorded that last bit, and I need to remember where exactly I was at. Yes, there is someone over here. I wanted to take another look at the crime scene just to see if there were any leads about Professor Callahan. There's just something strange about how disheveled the room was. It's like a tornado blew through or something. Some of the damage implies they used slashing weapons or blunt force. I think we can rule out that man from Longport. Dread to imagine running into whoever wrought that much damage, especially if they came from the gardens. We should probably stay away from Professor Callahan's lab for now. Oh, hello everyone. I take it you saw our request? We haven't had the chance, sorry. Oh, really? Well, we're glad you came at any rate. We'd like you to help us gather materials for a new type of painkiller. Gotcha. You're not working alone from the looks of it. The two of you are working on it together. That's right. I don't think you've met him before. Everyone, this is Ray. Pleased to meet you. I'm a researcher from ZCF over in Laburl. Esmeralda gave me a call asking for help with this new project for her, so here I am. I just flew in this morning. So it's Ray and Esmeralda? I study biology, plants specifically. He might be the acerbic tomato guy, I don't really remember all the way back in Sky 1. My most notable work would be the acerbic tomato, if you ever heard of that. And yes, I need to look at how long ago it was I played that game, if I remembered that. I don't blame you if it's flown under your radar, though. It hasn't really caught on in Calvert yet. I don't remember anything like that. I think I've seen it on occasion at some imported food stores. It's that really bitter tomato, isn't it? I've had a few of those, I think. Acquired taste, to say the least. I hear they spread from the world to Crossbell and Arabonia as well. I tried them once or twice, but they ain't really my thing. Yeah, I'm not surprised. Acerbic tomatoes are about the exact opposite of sweet. I like them quite a bit, actually. So do I. They're the perfect pick-me-up when I feel myself nodding off. Glad I've got two people in my camp, at least. I ended up creating them by total accident in a greenhouse, if you could believe it. Imagine the shock and horror on my colleagues' faces when they unsuspectingly bit into one for the first time. Oh, I'll treasure those memories forever. That was the impetus for my biology research. I was just drifting along without a specific focus before then, but those tomatoes saved me. He seems a little eccentric, doesn't he? Thought that was how all lab coat types operate. Well, to an extent, yes, but I'd say he makes the rest of us look normal. Wow, are they really that bitter? I kinda want to try one. Got it. So you're the botany guy, and then Esmeralda is the bioengineering buff. What led you two to work on a painkiller together, then? It does seem like a bit of a leap. You've got that look on your face, Katja. You've worked it out, haven't you? Well, yes, being your understudy clues me into these things. First, though, I think we should figure out whether or not we'll take this job before we dive into the details. What's your call, Van? We'll come back. Sorry, but could we come back to this a bit later? Kinda busy at the moment. Of course, that's on us for giving you such short notice, so no worries. If you do find the time to help, we'll be here waiting. So the marker is there now. So I actually think that is the last one to talk to. I'll trigger this scene just to see what happens. Oh, I remember seeing you yesterday. Were you looking to speak with Professor Cronkite? He just left, sorry. Shoot, we just missed him. He does seem to be spending a lot of time outside his lab lately. You wouldn't happen to know where he went, would you? We're looking into Callahan's disappearance. We thought he might know a thing or two about the guy. Not sure where he went, I'm afraid. If I had to guess, though, I think he's taking a quick break right now. There's this cafe he's taken to visiting lately. He usually heads out for a pick-me-up around this time. Oh, where is it? Well, that's the million-mirror question. The owner, Willie, roams around town throughout the day. The cafe is never in one place for long. He just packs up and goes wherever his heart guides him. The professor has his pattern down to a science, though. I have no idea how he does it. That's the place we visited yesterday. I do remember the guy saying some professor types stopped by a lot. Neither Essie nor I can make sense of the cafe's movements either. Well, process of elimination it is, then. Let's start where we saw it last. Maybe we'll run into somebody who saw him pack up, and then we'll just follow the trail from there. It was in the Arsenal district last night. Doubt he went anywhere else that night, given how late it was, so that can be our starting point. We have a lead, then. We should ask if anyone in the area saw the cafe the following day. Let's head on over to the church and see what's up. So,
Whoops.
Can we keep going? That sucks. So, I'll trigger the next scene, I think.
Off we go.
And then I'll put a break in the video. Like, I'm not making any promises on finding this thing. We're just gonna trigger a few more of the red beacon things. Wrong place, because you have to navigate that.
Now then.
Well, this is where we saw Willie last night. But sure enough, he's long gone. Hey there, you guys looking for Willie's Cafe? You could say that, yeah. I was eating at his place when he was here last night. After I finished my meal, he closed up shop and went off toward Newtown. If I had to guess, he's probably over there today, or close to it. You can never be sure with him. Guy's a real free bird, but that's as good a guess as any. Gotcha. Now that you mentioned, he was over there this time yesterday, too. Sucks he doesn't stick to his schedule, but maybe he does have a pattern. We might also find people there who have seen the cafe more recently. This is our most probable lead, so I recommend we take a look. Sounds good. Let's head over to that hotel where we saw him yesterday, then we can go from there. Thanks for the help, man. No problem. Not sure what you're tracking him down for, but best of luck regardless.
Off we go.
For a second there, yeah, I thought you had to talk to him, but you just keep walking. Wasn't expecting much, but oh well. Just how I wanted to spend my day, going on a wild goose chase on the clock. The food here is so good, it just sucks that it's so hard to track this place down. It's lucky to catch him before he moved. Alright, now I'm feeling energized. Time to get cracking. And X marks the spot. Excuse me, you got a sec? You guys were looking into those harassment claims, right? I got in touch with a friend of mine for the first time in a while. She works at the Institute. Need me to set you two up? Nah, this is something different. Don't worry, it's nothing serious. We're just looking for somebody. The Roman Cafe was just around here, right? Oh, Willie's? Yes, he was parked here until, 10 minutes ago. Guess he's quicker on his feet today for whatever reason. As soon as I got done eating, he packed up and left. I think he was headed for the Arsenal district. Great, the old runaround. You sure this wild goose chase is worth it? Well, he can't have gone very far yet. Sometimes he even changes his mind and stops right in his tracks. He really does go wherever his heart wanders. Well, we know where to look. Let's catch him before he strays too far. There's still a marker here.
So convenient nowadays.
Yang! Finally found you.
Katra. And that group with the Spriggan, correct? I expected you might be coming to find me soon.
Strange how the man we just so happened to casually run into twice already is doing such incredible work for the Republican Army. Yeah, he's developing weapons like those big humanoid things, right? Correct, he's quite a known figure within Marduk. Pleasure seeing you again. It was a real honor that such an esteemed professor remembers folks like us. And since you do, I imagine you've got a pretty good idea of why we're here.
Considering your position in recent events. Professor Callahan truly has left me in quite a predicament. His ties to the instability of the Orbital Network and its distribution, as well as the Mafia, were unfortunate enough on their own. But now here you are, dragging me into it.
How did you know all that? You get all that from the CEO?
The logic is simple enough. One need only link the subject of his research to the timing of the city's recent dilemmas for the pieces to fall into place. There is also that vast sum of money he received from an unknown source and various inexplicable phenomena to consider. It all shares a lot in common with those perplexing incidents that have taken place across the Republic the past few months. The ones related to Almada and their ever-expanding influence. Now, am I wrong?
Whoa. I'm amazed that you could connect the dots so precisely.
Need?
Then we have all we...
Do you really?
Right, it's a researcher's duty to substantiate a working theory by accumulating proof. Any conclusion that skips over this process holds no value.
As I've so often told you, ultimately, you must arrive at your own conclusion as a fellow researcher. Though I would not be against offering you my guidance as I did when you completed Fio and Zeros. I shall be on my way then. I have much research that requires my attention.
This guy is such a pain in the ass. And here I thought he was going to be our next lead. Do you mind, Anyas? No, I understand. Just a minute, please. Researchers don't work all on their own to find answers, right? The wisdom they gain is built on the research and papers of people who came before them.
True.
Oh.
I cannot deny that. And?
I was just thinking we could exchange info, make a deal. We happen to have something that pertains to those inexplicable phenomena you brought up. If you'd be open to giving us a little more of your time, I think we and that something could make it worth your while. You mean... is it the Genesis?
Very well then. I'm intrigued. I'd like to see this something that relates to all the incidents taking place across the Republic. This puzzle piece that appears neither to be an artifact nor the singularity from 1.5 years ago. Well, where is it?
Wow. I see now. Analyze this device for us, Katra. Can I touch it? Yes, of course. Judging by the way it's aged, I wouldn't even say it's anywhere close to being a century old, so definitely not an artifact. All these buttons and indicators make the front look obtuse at first, but it's all organized and looks to serve a clear purpose. From my perspective, it resembles more the original generation of ornaments back when they were based off of clocks. It's significantly more complex than any of those, however. This here is the work of a genius. Wait, could this have been made by... a commendable effort? It is one of the experimental devices that my own master was involved in developing, leading to the establishment of orbit technology. One of the 8 orbit prototypes delivered by Professor C. Epstein. They are called the 8 Geneses. I was not aware they were still in existence. I can't believe I'm touching an orbit designed by Professor Epstein. How did you come to have something like this, Anyas? Sorry, but we're gonna have to stay tight-lipped on that one, even if you are connected to one of the 3 disciples. Like we said before, showing it to you, we're counting on you guys to keep their existence a secret. I will be true to my word, and it does help me understand what you're doing here in Basel now. Now, it's time I compensated you for what you have shown us. You wanted to know about Professor Callahan's research, correct? Yeah, we've heard he was the one who developed the weaponry that's being used by Calvert at the moment. So whatever he's trying to develop right now has to do with military tech too. You are indeed correct regarding what he achieved, but he is a researcher of engineering science first and foremost. In a sense, he is currently grappling with one of the field's most difficult challenges, the realization of a certain thought experiment, and the use of the physical phenomena involved as weapons. What's a thought experiment? Oh? It couldn't be. Yes, it doesn't surprise me in the least that someone from Marduk would have heard of that to which I'm referring. Of course, the existence of such weapons is purely theoretical. It is impossible to create them using modern technology, not without a discovery so groundbreaking that it fundamentally upends what is possible. Well, then I have said all I intend to, now I must return to work. Hey, I'm not following any of this. I don't believe in discussing the research of others at length publicly until it has been published. I've given you all the information that the antique you showed me justifies. Catcher will enlighten you on the rest, I'm sure. So that's where he draws the line as a researcher, huh? This is very like him. So are you able to pick up where he left off? Yeah, what's this thought experiment he was talking about? Well...
I remember hearing about this from Professors Callahan and Hamilton a long time ago. About a theoretical form of tech in which the smallest units of matter would create a fusion reaction, producing a massive amount of energy. Such diabolical weapons cannot be created, but if they could, the consequences could be unthinkable. They're often referred to as nuclear weapons.
So real quick, a fusion, like our modern nuclear weapons in real life are fission-based. They split atoms rather than fusing them. Fusing would be like creating a sun, just to put into context for you what type of energy you're talking about. What an ominous idea. I could barely understand your explanation, but just hearing it sent a chill down my spine. Yeah, you can say that again. Their existence is purely theoretical. No one has ever come close to creating such a thing. The predictive simulations that Marduk has run rate their probability of being realized anytime soon is extremely low. Parallel distributed computing alone isn't going to be enough to get over the insurmountable hurdles that stand in its way. Agreed. Even if whatever's at work behind the scenes in Crossbell a year and a half ago was the one involved. Professor Callahan would know all of this too, so if he really is still trying, that makes it even harder to guess where he could be. But we still have to find him, whatever it takes. So if you were to do fusion, you'd probably want to use something small like hydrogen ions, or atoms, we're going to call them exactly, but those are very, very easy to come by, so yeah. Okay, we're on the second floor. It took me a moment to realize where I was. But with that, I am going to call it quits. When we pick up next time, we'll be doing the jobs, and we'll see how long that takes us. I'm the Hero of Light. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.